Hey everybody, welcome back to Dakota Does Dressage. We have scores from my October test that I felt really lucky I could sneak it in there, even though I didn't get to do a lot of riding in October. I was really hoping I could get a couple good sessions in on working on our suppleness, because that was the takeaway from the September test, was to really work on getting him more supple and relaxed and less tense through his neck so that he could feel more comfortable coming onto the bit and having better connection. Didn't get to work on that a whole lot, but I wanted to do this test as an opportunity to score higher than when we did this test back in June. So if you're new to the channel, I rode this test as my first ever dressage test back in June. Make sure you go watch that video. And I scored a 65.556% on that test. My goal was really to just improve on the score from June. I can tell you I wasn't sure after filming this and getting ready to submit it. He, again, just felt kind of sucked back. We had a few interesting moments in the test, nothing that was scary, but just, you know, kind of makes you roll your eyes and go, really? But anyway, let's get into the scores here and see how things shake out. Right, so Western Dressage Association of America Intro Test 2. Enter at A, working walk. At X, halt, salute, and then proceed working walk. I got a 7.5 here with a comment of almost on center line. We're just off of center line, but I thought he had a really good halt. He stays square, he stays still, but then he like steps way over off of X. So between X and G, develop working walk, and then at C, track right, working jog. I got a 6.5 with a comment of braced neck in turn. At B, circle right 20 meters, working jog. I got a 6.5, and this is a coefficient, so that's a 13. Needs a steadier connection over top line. So he's bracing in his neck, need a steadier connection over his top line. Like, to me, this is all still reading as a suppleness issue. At F, come down to a working walk. And then at A, halt for 4 seconds, proceed working walk. And I got a 6 here with a comment of a smooth transition, not square in halt, and he's fussy with his head and neck after the halt. So yeah, he always stops pretty nicely on his front end. He squares up well, but then his back end, he kind of leaves that one leg out. So I'm hoping again with suppleness, like carrot stretches, things that we're doing, that might help to relieve maybe any kind of stiffness he's having back there. Saw him toss in his head there. That's me putting leg on to prep him for this next maneuver, which is KXM, change rein and free walk, and then an M, working walk. So we get a 6.5 times 2, that's 13 here. Maintain stretch letter to letter and be more active. So he did put his head down lower than I've been able to get him to in all of my other previous tests, but he slowed way down. Because when I put leg on, he'll go fast, but he wants to lift his head up. At C, halt for 4 seconds and then proceed working walk. We get a 6, and the comment is almost square with a crooked departure. So I put my leg on there, and he takes that as a cue to maybe do a turn on the forehand and swings his hind end over. And then between C and H, develop working jog. I get a 6 because of that great little head toss he threw in there when he didn't want to trot. And then at E, circle left 20 meters, working jog. I got a 7.5 here, times 2, because it's a coefficient, so that's a 15. No comment. And you can see I'm not in the same circle track as all of the previous circles I rode when I did all my other practice tests, and she didn't comment on that. So this short test, come down the center line at A, and then at X, break down to a working walk, and then at G, halt and salute. And I got a 6 here with a comment of that I overshot the center line. Yes, I did. Seems like every time I overshoot that center line. And then there's some drift after X. But again, I'm really happy with this halt. I can tell he's got that back leg stuck out there, but it looks pretty square and balanced. And then leave the arena in free walk and exit at, well, it says exit at A, but I have to exit at C to get to my camera. So for collective marks, for gates, I got a 7 and no remark. For impulsion, a 6.5 with a remark of a few moments of resistance to forward aids. Yes, we need to get him going. For rider's position, seat, and hands, I got a 7 with a comment of keep legs stretched down. And I can't remember if I had lowered my stirrups for this test or not, but I've recently lowered them a hole to see if that might help me keep my leg more down and back. For rider's correct and effective use of the aids, I got a 7 with a comment of work for more invisible aids, bend and straightness when needed. And then for harmony, I got a 7, and that has a coefficient, so 14. Mostly obedient with a few moments of loss of connection. Mostly obedient. That is the comment of the day for sure. And you can see here I did change my bit. So instead of that miler level 2, I rode him in this egg butt with the copper lozenge. So we got score-wise here 120.5 out of possible 180 points. And that comes out to 66.944%, which is an improvement over the first time we did this test back in June. And I have that written down here because I couldn't quite remember. So in June, we scored 118 out of 180 points, and our percentage was a 65.556%. I feel like my rein connection needs a lot of work. It's pretty inconsistent. Again, keeping my seat more connected with him and sitting back more so he sits on his hind end more to get him up off of his front end, because that's his thing. He just wants to use that neck to lift his shoulders up, and sometimes he looks like he's got a bit of a U-neck. So I can see it in my head, like what needs to be worked on. But I paid for extra comments, hoping that I will get some more ideas of actually how to do the things, right? How to get him to do what I need him to do. So the comments, you know, the September test I paid for extra comments, and that judge wrote a book. There were a ton of comments. This time around, not so much. It's very short. This will be a much shorter video. So they put a good start to a bright future, pleasant to watch, just need to be more consistent. You have a lovely and free-moving horse, perfect for Western dressage, and I'm sure that you can bring out more of his talent. He just has moments where he loses impulsion, which causes the connection to be unsteady. Even though he's quite forward, he sometimes goes against your hand and stiffens his neck. Exercises that will help him stay in front of your leg and better connected are rapid fire transitions and spiral in and out. So she explains what she means here. Go to a 20-meter circle. Create a bend by a soft take and give with your fingers on the inside hand. Stretch your inside leg down and have slightly more weight on your inside seat bone. Outside rein should have a soft and steady contact. And I feel like that's a problem for us, for both of us. Like I think it's the outside rein contact. Neither of us are really comfortable keeping that contact there, and then having the inside rein contact be a lot looser. So again, that's getting him to understand how to flex his neck, his pole, and be in that position, which to me is like a suppleness thing and a connection thing. Start at a forward walk for a quarter circle, then jog a quarter circle, then back to walk, jog, walk. Keep him active, bending and steady in the outside ring connection. You will have to be active with your inside leg if he falls in. Oh yeah, that's definitely going to happen. Or the outside leg if he falls out. Nope, that won't be a problem. He will want to just dump all of his weight on his inside front leg and trip and fall over himself. When he can stay consistent in the bend and connection and is responsive to the transition aids, add the difficulty of gradually making the circles smaller, 20 meters, then 18, 15, and 12. Continue with the transitions. Use the outside rein against his neck and a bit of pressure with your outside knee to diminish the circle. Then stay centered with your seat and use your inside leg stretched down to push him back out to the larger circles and into the outside ring connection. If he speeds up too much, use half halts to help bring his hind legs under as you spiral in and out. These are fairly difficult exercises for a green horse, but very effective. Maybe 3 to 5 times to do each exercise in each direction per ride. That's hard for me because I tend to drill exercises, and like when he does it right, I'm like, oh, I got him to do it. That's so cool. Let's do it again. And then I should just quit when he gets the idea and it's time to quit. That's something I need to work on personally. And then they just put, best of luck. Hope to see you down center line again soon. So I really like when I do get an exercise to try because I'm not working with a trainer right now for a few reasons. Number one, I can't afford it. Trainers are expensive and I'm just getting into this and I kind of just feel like I'm not ready to make that financial commitment yet. Maybe that'll change, but we'll see. And number two, it's to prove to myself that I can do it. Like I'm not a horse trainer. I don't plan on becoming a professional horse trainer. I'm not ever going to offer myself out to people to like come ride their horses or give them lessons. So it's more about recognizing that there could be another horse in my future someday. Not anytime soon, but someday, because Dakota is getting older and he will get to that point where I just can't ride him anymore. So I want to work on my horsemanship so that I'm a better rider for the next horse that comes into my life, and for Dakota too. But the poor guy is having to put up with all of this from me right now and at 20. So he's taken it like a trooper. But I know a trainer would help me, but knowing that it's proving it to myself that I can take a horse that, Dakota's basically a blank slate. He wasn't really trained to do anything specifically. So if I'm working to increase our impulsion and I try an exercise and it works, I know that I did that. That wasn't a trainer who came and got on him and taught him, and now I just have to replicate those aids. I actually did it, and I actually communicated with him effectively and am training him to do it, and that's really exciting. So that's part of this challenge for me. As we progress, I could see soliciting help from a trainer either locally for in-person training sessions, coaching sessions, or like online coaching is popular now, so that could happen too. Or if we just keep getting scores consistently like in the mid 60s at intro level and it's clear that I need additional help, I will find additional help. So kind of sounds like either way I'll end up working with a trainer at some point. Let's not tell Josh yet. That'll be a surprise. So anyway, if you've stuck around this long, I really appreciate it. Make sure that you like and subscribe. That really helps me out. We gotta show the algorithm that I'm here to stay and hopefully I'm worth watching and you guys are having fun. So thank you again so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.